Was mother on the phone. I think your voice is on.
Good morning, honorable members. It's now almost 2 minutes past 10, and I would like us to start in earnest. I wanted just to check that with the secretariat if all our members are already on board so that we can take off. Amanda. Amanda?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, I just want to check, are all the members connected?
We can start the meeting, Chair. The minister is also in the platform.
Okay, are the members here?
There are some members that are here, Chair.
All right, okay, thank you. Okay, honorable members, honorable minister, and the officials of both Parliament and the department, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you present in this meeting. And this is our regular select committee meeting on public enterprises and communications. And the agenda has been shared with the members as well as the ministry and the department. We are
recording in progress.
We are expecting a presentation from one of our entities that is part and parcel of the Department of Digital Technology and Communications. So without further ado, I would want to say the meeting is now duly opened, and I will ask for the Secretariat to indicate if we do have any apologies. Secretariat?
Thank you, Chair. We have 3 apologies. One from Honorable Nana, Honorable Abuskachni, and Honorable Dubrain. Ms. Fist.
Come again? You are breaking there.
Honorable Nana, Honorable Abuskachni, and Honorable Dubrain won't be joining us in the meeting, Chair. However, Honorable Fisa will be joining the meeting late. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Those apologies are noted. Colleagues, we basically have ZADNA, which is ZA Domain Name Authority.
Am I lost or I have lost the chairperson?
That briefing, we're told, is going to be in the next.
Hello?
Sorry, Minister, the chair seems to have lost connectivity,
Yeah, no,
but he'll be joining soon.
I wanted to ascertain so that I cannot feel good that I'm the one, yet I'm the one absent.
No, he's joining just now, Chair. Your Minister.
Okay. I can chair if the committee
No,
allows.
no, you will not be allowed to chair, Honorable Minister. It's the challenge of the technology, but however, I'm back here now. So I was saying, members, that today we're going to be receiving a presentation from the ZA Domain Name Authority, which is a part of the entities under the stewardship of the ministry. And I don't think we should waste any time. Rather, let's now invite the Honorable Minister Mondli Kungubele to lead in terms of this presentation by giving a high-level political overview, and then he will then also introduce his team, who will then take us through the presentation. With your indulgence, therefore, honorable members, allow me to give the platform to the Honorable Minister. Minister, we welcome you, and we really appreciate that you are coming in this meeting. We know that Wednesdays are quite very difficult, given the fact that they are cabinet days. But for you to have taken time to be with us here, it's much appreciated, because when you don't appear in these meetings, it basically gives an opportunity to those who wish to punch holes to say that it can't happen without you. So we always appreciate that you do make this representation. I therefore wish to hand over to you to take us through. Welcome, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Thanks for the opportunity, and I must greet all the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee again, restate the appreciation of the honor to be given a chance to share with the committee the state of ZADNA as required by the committee. Up front, I must say, in terms of our record, ZADNA has never appeared here. But when we analyze, we discovered that select committee now and again, they use their discretion to decide which state-owned company should appear. As a result, we see no misnomer in it. I just wanted to clear that. And secondly, we thought maybe there could be exceptional circumstances, maybe something wrong. I have not been able to pick it up, but we will be advised by the committee if there's something else we're supposed to present. So we take this as a routine accountability that the committee wants to get an update on the state of the entity itself. Having said that, Honorable Chair, I want to ask Shelembe and the Chair to, before I do anything, to do a quick introduction of the team on the platform. Mr. Shelembe.
Thank you very much, Minister, and good morning to the chairperson, and greetings to the honorable members and colleagues on the platform. My name is Omeka Shelembe. I am the Deputy DG responsible for SOE oversight. Perhaps first of all, I need to offer the apology on behalf of our Director General, who is unable to join this meeting because of an earlier commitment at Africa Tech, which is currently taking place right now. On the side of the department, Minister, it's myself. There is also Nosesi Madlanga, who is responsible for ZADNA as an entity. I'm going to hand over to the chairperson of ZADNA to introduce the rest of the team. Thank you, Minister.
Good morning, Minister. Good morning to the chairperson of the committee members, official of DCDT, and officials of ZADNA. I'm joined today. My name is Balisa Lekoze. I'm the chairperson of the South African Domain Name Authority. With me, I'm with Mr. Msibi, who is the ARC chairperson, the CEO, Mr. Molehe Wesi, and the operations manager, Mr. Peter Matavu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Chairperson and Mr. Shalembe. Maybe if I can take the platform as advised by you, Honorable Chair. I'll be very short, just to say ZADNA is one of the entities which generally we've got no reason to raise eyebrows in the manner in which it is run. It will have its own imperfections like any entity, no matter how exceptional that one will be performing. But generally, it's an entity we're comfortable about its performance. Of course, it's an entity we are anxious that it meets its targets in terms of the affiliates in the ZA space, and also ensuring that it actually meets its target growth. Because one of the things they will share with you today is what they refer to as missed opportunities, achieving an annual target of increasing a net growth domain name by 0.25%, and also documenting and digitizing the internal processes of the institution with a particular focus on HR and finance. They will share that with the portfolio committee. Of course, they will be sharing with you, Chair, that in terms of their target, they would have achieved 88%, having obtained unqualified audit, would preferably need a clean one. And they would also report to you that they continue to provide an expeditious alternative decision resolution process. They will share with you that no less than 40,444 domain names were registered, and then the number of campaigns and the work done in the IT infrastructure and so on. In other words, we are one of the highest rating domain institutions in the world, in particular within the continent. But they will also share that with you. I don't want to waste time, Chair. I want to ask the Chair to actually lead. She will decide whether the CEO or herself will take the committee through a detailed presentation. We'll entertain questions, Chair, thereafter. Lagos.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you for the introduction, Minister. I think Minister has a the fact that we had 16 targets and we achieved 14 of those and missed 2 of those. And also to say that as ZADNA, we are not funded by government, but
sorry, Chair. The presentations, yes. Unless the presentation will come with the CEO, can you share the presentation with the committee, please?
It will come with the CEO, Minister.
Okay, no, thank you. Oh, these are your opening remarks. Okay, proceed. All right.
And just maybe to indicate that ZADNA is not funded by government, but we are a self-funding entity. We are funded from domain name fees. And also to indicate that we are in a good financial position as ZADNA, and we are sustainable. We have a surplus that is intended to be used in case something was to happen that we're not able to accrue the funds that we've been accruing throughout. Also, the minister has alluded to the fact that one of the targets that it didn't reach was the digitization of the processes within ZADNA and the registration with CPIC, where there were issues with the system that was being utilized. With those opening remarks, I'd like to hand over to the CEO, Mr. Molehe Wesi, to take us through the salient points of the presentation. Thank you, and the financials. Thank you. Over to you, Molehe.
Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, Chairperson of the Select Committee, and greetings to the Honorable Minister and colleagues from DCDT and my team. Chair, through you, I will be taking you through the presentation, and I will be assisted by Meki Mpole, who is our Executive Manager Finance, to deal with the financials. However, Chair, with your permission, I will switch off my camera going forward, so that one saves on bandwidth wherever I am now. I'm trying to share my screen. My apologies, Chair. For today, members, I will be focusing in the main the strategic overview, and of course highlighting our highlights for the year under review, and go into detail on some of the key achievements that we attained as the ZA Domain Name Authority, and then of course speak to the financial performance, and also touching on our audit findings that we had when we were going through our external audit. With that said, members, I will skip the first two slides, Chair, as these, of course, introduce the organization, what is ZADNA, and also speaking to our vision, mission, and our core values, and jump straight into the highlights, which I'm privileged that the Minister and my chairperson has already summarized. However, Chair, I will expand on some of the key factors that were highlighted by the Minister and my chair, and also speaking to what is it in terms of remedial actions we are putting in place to ensure that those missed opportunities, we are able to cover ground in the current financial year. As indicated, we achieved an 88% of our 16 targets, having, of course, receiving or obtaining an unqualified audit outcome. Chair, what is notable about this, while of course, in terms of our size, we are quite a small entity relative to our counterparts, but we remain in a position whereby we are able to execute and deliver on our mandate. And while we do so, notably, we have not incurred any unauthorized, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure since the inception of the organization to date. Furthermore, we have a very clean track record, as highlighted by the Minister, Honorable Chair, and members, that for the past years, we have been consistently obtaining an unqualified audit outcome. As highlighted by the Chair, we also accrue, or rather most of our revenue, if not all of our revenue, comes from what we call domain name fees collected on our behalf by an appointed registry, which amounts to 15 rands. And this particular 15 rands is per any domain name that is registered. Currently, we have a little above 1,380,000 domains. To that, of course, that speaks to the revenue that we had reported on. Furthermore, when one speaks of the expeditious alternative decision resolution, we are actually speaking to one of our mandates as per our regulations under the ADR, where we are expected to protect digital identities of South Africans, and also that of entities within the country, whereby if, of course, someone unduly so steals your digital identity, you can, through our channel and those that we work with within the industry, to adjudicate the matter and also ensure that your rights are protected. Furthermore, Chair and members, what is notable about this is that we also offer funding as allowed and permissible by the regulations of the ADR to provide any financial assistance to those that need to undertake that particular process. My apologies. In terms of the key takeaways, as previously highlighted, one thing that one has to flag out in terms of the achievements as stated under the third last bullet, when we conducted the 24 registrar reseller trainings, we managed to cover majority of the provinces with the exception of one province, that is Northern Cape. However, there is ambition in this current financial year to include Northern Cape in terms of the activities and trainings. What is notable about the 24 registrar reseller trainings, we managed to produce 4 qualified registrars and also 24 resellers from the program. Chair and members, in terms of our function, a registrar is an entity that is permissible by law under the ECT Act to register domain names on behalf of citizenry. And these registrars, from time to time, to expand their market share and reach, they appoint what we call resellers. This can be individuals or entities to actually register on their behalf. And we saw it fitting that due to the challenges that the country is faced with, it's quite important ZADNA puts in place this registrar reseller training to empower young people and also ensure that they become active and economic participants within the space. As such, through the training, we were able to reach, in terms of attendees of the training, 80% of them were young people and in particular women. Moving on to the internet governance engagements, we were able to achieve 27 of those. And these particular internet governance engagements, chair and members, relates to one of our functions as stipulated on the National ICT White Paper, which expects ZADNA to act as the Internet Governance Secretariat of the country. And this particular function is to bring like-minded individuals and entities, provide them with a platform from all corners of the country, coming from public and private and civil society, to come and discuss any issues, concerns, and of course, policy advancements around the utilization of the internet, specifically focusing on issues within the country. This, of course, rolls up to a regional fora, and then, of course, rolls up to a global fora, which is convened under the UN. And we are not doing this alone, notably members. We are doing this, of course, through the guidance and tutelage of the department. Furthermore, even though it might seem as an overachievement with the 47 media coverages, where we were able to cover majority of the provinces through various channels, be it newspapers and digital media. And this, in the main, was around our public participation that we undertook to seek promulgation for our regulations that we brought out. As matters stand, these particular set of regulations are sitting with the state law advisors for advice on a way forward, post, of course, the public participation. In terms of awareness campaigns, in line with our mandate, honorable members, we concluded 19, and through this, we raise awareness around the impact and effects of the .za domain name space. Furthermore, we also raise awareness on how you can partake and become economically active within the space. As I move on to the IT infrastructure, this particular one, members, we still remain a very secure and resilient domain name space. And thus far, one thing that is notable, we have not had a disastrous interruptions. And one can claim that we have had an 100% uptime in terms of activities and maintenance of the IT infrastructure, thus ensuring that the backbone in a form of the domain name services offered to the country and those that reside out of the country are available 24 hours, 365 days. Of course, it goes without saying, Honorable Chair and members, that ZADNA's governance structures are intact and fully functional. And this is testament to the continuous achievement of an unqualified audit outcome in the year under review. If one moves on, Chair, to the missed opportunities, as cited by my board chairperson, we missed the two, which is our ambitions to grow the domain name space by 0.25% through the CIPC platform. When one talks about platform, I'm specifically talking to the e-services and also this portal, as we do have an agreement and partnership with CIPC to register companies' domain names post these particular companies going through a registration process with the registrar. Moving on, the one relating to documentation of internal and digitization of internal processes. This one was, of course, unfortunately due to lack of capacity internally. However, there is reassurance, members, that we will achieve what we have set as targets for the current financial year and also what we missed in the previous financial year, thus ensuring that we have digitized and optimized our internal functions to better serve the country, and of course ensure that we retain any form of institutional memory that could be lost due to undocumented and undigitized internal processes. As I move on, Honorable Chair and members, this expatiates the points that I've made in terms of the highlights earlier on. I will skip these slides so that one gets to the one speaking to the audit outcomes before I hand over to Ms. Mpole. In terms of the audit outcomes, it has already been cited. This, of course, relates to we have an unqualified audit, and as the Honorable Minister has indicated, we will endeavor to do better in the current financial year to remove, if not, rather reduce, if not remove all or any findings that we have, to ensure that we obtain an unqualified audit outcome without any audit findings from our external auditors. It suffices to note that, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, that we are audited by a reputable and qualified audit firm. As the chairperson has indicated, we are a non-PFMA entity, so meaning we are not scheduled as per the Treasury prescripts and regulations. In terms of the findings themselves, I have endeavored to summarize, and I'll speak to the summary as presented on your screens. We had 10 findings, 9 were resolved during the audit, with 1 being tracked as in progress. And this one, which is in progress, we do envisage that in the current financial year, in particular this current quarter, we will resolve this particular one as it pertains to a misalignment in terms of our applicable policies that manage and governs our property, plant, and equipment. In terms of some of the resolved audit findings, the auditors will, of course, check at the end of the current financial year to ensure that all findings that were raised are not repeat findings. It also suffices to note, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, that in the current financial, in this year under review, my apologies, there were no repeat audit findings from previous periods. All these matters that were identified, of course, were relatively new. As grouped there, these related to PPE, reporting errors, and also issues around compliance. As such, Chair, with your blessings, I will then request Mpole to just speak to our financial position. And as she steps up to the platform, Chair, if you permit, it is notable that we are a going concern. We are in a good financial state. Chairperson, with those few words, I really am thankful for the opportunity to present to yourself and honorable members, as I request the Mempoli to just summarize the financial performance of the entity. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Minister. Thank you to all the members. Our statement of comprehensive income is as follows. As mentioned, we have restated our 2022 financial statements. That is what that restatement star for the 2022 reflects. However, our revenue for the financial year is still sitting around 20 million. Our other income is made up of a variety of income that comprises from the ADR fees received, the MIC SITA funding, as well as insurance and other income, which is currently sitting at 2.1 million. We have our administrative and our other expenses sitting at our administrative sitting at 25,333,000 and our administrative sitting at 1.26. This puts us in a net deficit position of 3.8 million. This then also includes our finance income. This is purely interest received from all our investments of 1.6 million. Because of the revaluation that was done during the current year, we also have gain on revaluation of 477,000. Total position that we were sitting at year end was 1.7 million. I will move to the next slide. Thank you. Thank you. Our assets has increased from 720,000 to 1.1 million. This is as a result of additional assets that we've purchased in the year under review, as well as the revaluation that took place. We have financial assets at amortized cost. This is our investment that is sitting with Nedbank. It's going to mature in April of 2026. And that gives us our total non-current assets of 13.1 million. We have our current assets, which is trade and other receivables. Our current trade and other receivable is sitting at 4.76, and our cash and cash is sitting at 11 million. We've made an accumulated surplus of 25 million, as well as our other non-distributable reserves as a result of revaluation of assets of 477,000. This leaves us at a total equity of 26,123,000. Our liabilities, we have current liabilities, which is purely trade and payables, which is sitting at 3,476,000. I just want to state that the restatement purely affects the trade and other payables, as well as the trade and other receivables as a result of a VAT liability that had to change from being a payable last year to being a receivable in the current year as a result of additional assessments that came post year end. If there's nothing, that will be all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mempoli. With that submission, Honorable Chair and members, we conclude our presentation. I think what is also notable, Honorable Chair, is that as cited by the EM Finance, we have various partnerships whereby we are leveraging existing state resources to ensure that we execute our mandate, hence her presentation speaking to other receivable and also other revenue. On that note, once more, Honorable Chair and members, I thank you for the opportunity as we await your questions and points of clarification that you might seek. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. We are at your disposal, Honorable Chair, now. Thank you very much.
Masibonge Mphathiswa, thank you so much, Honorable Minister, and the board, as well as the executive of ZADNA, for this presentation. I'm now going to invite the members who wish to interact with this presentation to comment on it, ask questions of clarity, and perhaps also come up with any proposals where there is a need for that. Honorable members, I will identify you on the chat and I will be assisted by the Secretariat to identify some hands that I might have missed. For now, I see the two hands, the Honorable Lindiwe Bibi and Honorable W. Ngwenya. Those are the two hands that I can see at this point in time. So, Honorable Bibi, I'll give you the first opportunity. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson, and greetings to yourself, and also greetings to the Minister and the team, and also greetings to the officials and also my colleagues. Thanks, Chairperson, for this opportunity. I've just got two questions. My first one will be Honorable Minister, the technology and in particular the internet has made the world so small that we have only our fingertips to get connected. But also the same internet is a playground for cyber crimes, being your scammers, fraudsters, etc. Now, my question, Minister, is what is your role in cases where some internet domains are found to be involved in either cybercrime or fraud? And also, do you deregister such domains? And then what happens after? My last question, Chairperson, will be who maintain your infrastructure that is your servers? Is it in-house skills or you outsource such services? Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you for the opportunity.
Siyabonga, Mama. Siyabonga kakhulu. Let's now invite Honorable Winnie Ngwenya. The platform is yours, Mama.
Thanks very much, Chair. And good morning to all the members, department. Chair, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the meeting. Firstly and foremost, let me welcome the presentation from the ZA Domain Name Authority, better known as ZADNA. It is existing to know that this entity is responsible for internet governance in South Africa. And we hope that the Department of Communication is providing the necessary support to this entity to carry on with its mandate of providing internet governance in South Africa. Chairperson, having said, Honorable Chair, my questions are as follows. I want to check how many women, youth, and people with disability had been on ZADNA training program, and how many had been supported, and how many were already entrepreneurs. The second question, Chair, is on ZADNA using externally professionally to achieve its project. And if yes, which are those service providers and how much was used to pay the internally professionals? My third question, Chair, I want to check who were the strategy partners of ZADNA during the financial year of 2002-2003. In slide 4, Chairperson, Mr. Mulege, you mentioned that you have obtained an unqualified audit opinion. I want to check, what was your target? Was your target to obtain a clean audit opinion? And if yes, why you did not obtain a clean audit? I thank you, Chair. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga Mamungwenya. Thank you so much for that. Let me check if we have another member. Honorable Modise, I see that you have raised your hand. We also wish to give you an opportunity, Honorable One.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and let me greet everybody who's in the meeting. Let me start with the Minister and my colleagues. Chair, I've got only one question that I want to ask. When I just want to check with them, when they sign their performance agreement, is it between them and the executive and your employees? Does the entity sign the performance agreement with the ministry or the department at some point? Those are the questions that I wanted to ask, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Modise. Siyabonga kakhulu. Let me just see if we have another member. That's it. You can look. Honorable Nana.
Nkosi Xwanini, mandizibuyisele nami kumalungu ekomiti ngale ntsasa nesikhokhelwe ngumphathiswa ndizikhahle kwinkosi yabaThembu. Xwanini, ndicela uxola ndizokwazi ufaka ividiyo ndisemaqagaleni apha kwaye andiyinxibanga ngokufanelekileyo for le ntlanganiso, so ndicela uxola ndiyawuvela into ezilihlaza ndawulayita ikhamera. For a minute I thought the minister was kidding us when he said this is one of those entities that isn't giving him problem. But from what the delegation has presented, it is very clear to me that this entity is probably one in a lot of our entities as we know them. That is properly run, and for some reason, and in this regard, I would want to confess my ignorance. For some reason, this entity has managed to fly under the radar. I have never heard of it before, and that on its own has attracted quite some enthusiasm from my part. As a consequence, Xwanini, I would through your leadership, I would really want us to keep a tab on ZADNA with a view of trying to rub off their good practices to other SOEs and entities that fall under our portfolio. Having said that, I would want to check with the minister and his delegation, assuming that there is some international bodies that these kind of entities belong to, and then those international bodies, again, I'm assuming that those international bodies do provide some benchmarking, and I would want to check how is ZADNA faring as compared to its peers across the globe? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nana. I don't see any other hand. Minister, as well as the members of the board, I think we must welcome the presentation which has been made to us. Minister, you alluded to the fact that it could be for the first time that you appear before this select committee. I'm not sure whether you are referring to the 6th administration or you are saying from time we ushered democracy. It would be for the first time that you are doing what you are doing today in this.
I meant, Chairperson, this entity in particular, not me. Sorry.
Yes, I'm referring to the entity in question as well. Is it during this term? Is this during this 6th administration, or it would have been? It has never came even before the previous administrations. That's what I wanted to check. Secondly, Minister, as well as the board, I want to check the board composition, because one of the things that often happens is that the board composition doesn't take into account the issues of geographic spread, and I'm referring in particular the representation of the rural communities which are in the margins of our society. It would be good if we can have a full appreciation of those that constitute the board and where they come from, because we always want to ensure that community representation is also mainstreamed in institutions of this nature. More so, Minister, because when it comes to ICT, as we appreciate what you have now started embarking on by ensuring that you roll it out to the rural communities, and there's a huge backlog in that respect. So it would be great if also the composition of boards of institutions of this nature takes into account that representation, because it also helps to ensure that the speed with which things ought to be taken actually is effected. Secondly, the official was making a presentation, spoke about funding which is also made available, particularly for those that may be in need. And again, the same principle applies, that the need, yes, it does arise even in urban and peri-urban spaces, but it would be great to have a sense of the assistance that has been afforded. It would be great if we can get the detail, a little bit of detail, even if it's not now, because maybe they may not be prepared with that detail, but we would like to get a sense of who are the recipients or beneficiaries of such funding, so that money is not going in one direction. It actually takes cognizance that we are a unitary state with the complexion that we have, which is both urban and rural. And therefore, where in the majority of cases, funding, particularly grant funding, is actually required to those that are in the margins of our society. And then lastly, Minister, as the members are saying that yes, we have not had an active interaction with this entity and with the role that it plays in the national sphere of our country. It is important that this may not be the last interaction, and this interaction in particular may ignite that we do some oversight closely, so that we can ensure that this entity that we are told that is doing well and its financial status is quite healthy, that that can also be communicated to the country so that it is known. because there's always a negative issue that is always highlighted by, state-owned companies and state-owned enterprises. So it's very important, Minister, especially your department, which is responsible for communication, that you need to have some kind of a breast-beating bravado that when entities like this one is doing well, this must not happen, behind the scenes. It must be known that, as you are saying, it is amongst the best in the world. And that needs to be communicated so that people can take pride of the good work that is done by our government. So, the centrality of your department as a department that must communicate with the citizenry is very key, therefore, that from time to time, you need to brief the nation when you announce your annual results, that you must communicate that you have got these achievements and you have an unbroken record that you have been proving from one financial year to the other. That actually motivates upon the population of our country. So I will leave it that with that note of appreciation, and we will then invite you back, Minister. You can choose to start or conclude in terms of responding to the comments and the questions which have been asked by the honorable members. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, honorable members, for the compliments, and also the important questions that need to be responded to. Chair, up front, the members, the colleagues are going to actually respond to the questions. I just want to say the issue of communication from your counseling is very, very important. I think we have to do differently. We are working on that. I hope before the end of this year we would have done. There's a lot of work that the department is doing, especially now the impact we're beginning to make in the rural community. So that issue of communication, we stand accused on that, and I think I agree with you, Chair. We need to sort that out. Having said that, the second issue is that I've been advised that it has never appeared, but they will correct me at any point in time before. And I must clear this, Chair. There's nothing wrong that it is appeared. But the question is that we had a select committee stage fright. If you have never appeared before, the immediate thing you have a fright, you have never appeared. What is happening? Otherwise, we are not questioning that. We look forward to interact with the committee as and when the committee deems it fit. And what I'm going to do now, I'll ask Shalembe, the chair of the board, and the CEO, and maybe the chair will decide how she distributes, who responds to what. Chair Lagos.
Thank you, Minister. I will take the first question and the question on performance and the performance agreement. I'll take those, and then the CEO will take the rest of the questions. I just thought perhaps I should just switch on my video so that people can see the face. But I'll switch it off now with your indulgence, Chair. The first question on the role of ZADNA with regards to cybersecurity is that there is something that is called DNSSEC, which is Domain Name System Security, which is signing off the root to ensure that whenever websites are spoofed, people know exactly which website it is, whether is it the right website or is it a spoofed website. We also, in terms of the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act, Clause 77 speaks to the issue of takedown, that when there is illicit content or harmful content that is online, and if somebody reports it, immediately that site would be taken down. And in terms of other, if it comes to our attention that there is something going on in terms of other websites and all of that and domain names under the ZA namespace, those namespace would be deregistered pending an appeal by those who have been found to be doing something wrong. So that's what we do. But also we have a relationship with the police. If something goes wrong, we are able to inform law enforcement so that they can take over whatever it is that we have discovered and investigate and take the matter forward. With regards to the issue of performance contract. The board has we have a GA an agreement with the minister, which we adhere to, and also we send the board's work plan to the minister. In terms of the CEO, his performance agreement is in line with the mandate of ZADNA as per the ECT Act, and that performance agreement annually is submitted also to the department. The other part that was asked was in relation to international bodies. Internationally, there's an entity called the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, which actually administers and manages the internet globally. So that we have a relationship with that entity as ZA, as ZA is a top-level country code, top-level domain name. And in terms of how we fare globally, in the continent, we're number 1. And in terms of the globe, we're number 28, meaning that as South Africa, we are doing well. Out of 100 and something countries, we are number 28. I will now hand over to the CEO to take the rest of the questions. Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, through you, and thank you, honorable members, for the questions. I will start with the very first question, and then I will go through the list. I think, Chair, to augment what the chairperson has indicated around domain name abuse and the cyber crimes, over and above that, to strengthen our relationships with those that are within the ecosystem, we have forged or rather incepted quarterly engagements with the Internet Service Providers Association of South Africa, which deals with takedowns relating to their own members. Furthermore, Chair and members, we also, through our appointed registry, ensure that processes and policies are followed to the latter, where they avail channels for raising issues around domain name abuse. And by domain name abuse, we are talking about any infringement relating to illegal activity utilizing any .za domain name. Furthermore, we have in place processes through our own policy frameworks that forces the registrars, which are these entities I cited and described earlier, to ensure that they have means to report any domain name abuse. This, of course, falls in line with international best practices on how to address any identified domain name abuse. It is worth noting, Chair and honorable members, that through, of course, the guidance of the board and various partnerships that we have, of course, incepted tools that will assist us to ensure that we proactively monitor the space and protect those that utilize it. To be more pragmatic in terms of my response, speaking to that, Chair, we are closely monitoring with the appointed registry to ensure that any issues we are able to capture majority thereof. Of course, one has to put a disclaimer because we are working with well-resourced networks. They from time to time change their modus operandi, and then of course we have to preempt and also acclimatize to those. But our response rate is quite well, and globally, notably out of 640 top-level domains, which is all those domains at the end, we rank quite low in terms of domain name abuse. Thus meaning, Honorable Chair, out of the 1.380 million domain names that we have, we only have currently 2,200 cases of abuse. Majority thereof we are aware of. Moving into the question that Honorable Bibi asked around the infrastructure, because we want to, optimize our resources based on our current budget, Honorable Chair and members, we have opted for a hybrid model where we have services outsourced. They are hosted in the cloud, maintained by various service providers. When one says various service providers, Chairperson, it is of course in line with the prescripts and best practices of the organization as cited by my board chair. Just to take members through that, we have the ZA infrastructure, which is ran locally by one entity from Johannesburg. And this, of course, prescribing to best practices where it's spread across various data centers. In terms of human beings, we do have a team as thin as it is, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. We do have internal resources that ensure that these agreements and also these processes and infrastructure are looked after. It remains our ambition through various interventions to, of course, grow the internal capacity so that at least we have a building redundancy. In terms of the various infrastructure that I've cited, we are expected by those prescripts as per ICANN who have global presence, meaning that we have a couple of servers that are physical in country and we have virtual instances across the globe. Moving on to the question from Honorable Ngwenya. In terms of demographics and statistics, I will indicate that we trained 853 women, and we also trained 14 people living with disabilities. It goes without saying that it would be our wish to increase the participation of people living with disabilities. As such, we are exploring various partnerships with various associations that are keen and, of course, would like to partake with this particular training. In terms of professional services, while one doesn't have the figures on top of mind, we utilize quite a significant amount of our funding to appoint, of course, external service providers. But importantly, so Honorable Chair and members, is that we ascribe by a principle that once we have a professional service provider appointed, they need to ensure that they impart knowledge and ensure that there's knowledge transfer so that at least there is continuity internally to capacitate the team. In relations to the audit outcome, indeed, Honorable Chair and members, our aspiration was to, as per the prescripts from, I have to disclose from the minister and also my chair and the board at large, was to get an unqualified audit outcome without any findings. Furthermore, we were taking up a chair to say we need to ensure that there are no repeat findings, which of course signals that our internal controls are inefficient if those come up quite frequently. So as such, going forward, we will endeavor and ensure that we have appropriate systems, checks and balances in place to attain that particular target. I think the chair has covered me on the performance agreements. Also, of course, for those that are within the executive layer at the organization, their focus is split between strategic, which aligns with the mandate and the outputs of the APP, while, of course, there is a portion allocated to operations, and this constitutes a smaller one. Just to also speak on the question around global entities, over and above what the chair has indicated from ICANN, we also form part of AFRINIC, which is the African network resource provider, or the regional internet registry as appointed by ICANN. We also form part of the African top-level domain name association. And of course, through the department, we have been provided an opportunity to partake in some key processes relating to ITU engagements. As of course, I believe that there has been an indication that the internet on its own and also what it provides to the country is quite crucial. Hence, we partake in that particular in those particular activities. I think, Chair, it also goes without saying that over and above our participation in these various forums, South Africa, through, of course, the ZA Domain Name Authority, holds a seat on the country code naming support organization within ICANN. So we are part of one of the 15 councillors that have to provide policy position on how country codes in terms of top-level domains have to function and operate. So I think that was an achievement that is worth noting. In terms of the ADR process, this being the alternate dispute resolution process, we will share the figures if the chair permits, and of course through the ministry, the details of what we have funded in the past. But from the top of my head, Honorable Chair, we have not had a lot of requests, but just to take you through the process, this process is actually a paid for service where an individual, which of course would like to dispute a particular ownership of a domain name, they will then send the request through ourselves, which then we take it through accredited intellectual property adjudicators or legal practitioners. They would then appoint a full panel of adjudicators. This particular cost can be between 10,000 to 30,000 per sitting. It is also legally binding. One has to confess, an Honorable Chair, there has not been any judiciary review of any decisions taken by our adjudicators. In fact, they were fortified in terms of a number of legal proceedings that were brought forth to our judiciary. Now, in terms of funding, we have quite clear prescripts of who we fund and how we fund them. Indeed, we do target the marginalized and those that cannot afford the funding that I have set out. We also offer funding for one adjudicator, which of course is permissible as per the regulations. In terms of the spread, we have embarked on communicating this with various forums to ensure that if the citizenry is interested in actually receiving this funding, they are well informed, and we also avail it speedily. What is also interesting around the ADR process, in the year under review, as indicated, we ran a campaign, and I think there was an interest. Of course, the process, honorable members and honorable chair, is limited to South Africans. Like I indicated, to the best of my knowledge, where I stand now, there hasn't been any keen pickup or uptake of that particular service, but we will share through formal channels an update and a breakdown of the details as asked by the committee. In terms of the strategic partnerships, we really pride ourselves in saying during the year under review, we have forged a relationship with a number of entities, the Free State Black Business Council, whereby the ambition here was to capacitate SMMEs and communities with skills around the DNS. Also, we have partnered with Innovolution Edu programs. In short, they call themselves Tech Savvy. They are an organization based in Gauteng, focusing, of course, in townships, schools, whereby they provide educational programs. And we were coming in to digitize the schools that they have adopted. Over and above this, Honorable Chair, we have partnered with the DOE, Department of Education in the Free State, where we are going to digitize their schools. And by digitize their schools, we mean provide domain names. Also, we are going to provide a learning management system for the schools, while, of course, we provide emails for every learner in the school and also the educators within the school. This, of course, availing a digital presence for the schools and also ensuring that, my apologies, there is other digital means to accrue any form of revenue through donations. It goes without saying this is not only limited to the province of the Free State. We also have ambitions of doing this in other provinces as such. Chair, through the assistance of the department and many other stakeholders, we are continuously engaging other provinces to see if there is a need for this particular program. It is also noteworthy that we will be moving into the Eastern Cape soon. We will be moving into KwaZulu-Natal. Furthermore, we'll also be doing some projects in the Northern Cape through various partners that we are currently engaging. So that one, Chair, becomes very specific. I think we will also be augmenting the good work that is done by my counterparts on the SA Connect, whereby post them providing the connectivity, we come in and provide the digital presence for the schools and the required training. Also, we have partnered with the Films and Publications Board, which is a sister entity within the DCDT portfolio. And this is speaking to what the chair addressed around cyber crimes to ensure that whatever we are able to pick up on our side, we are able to refer it to the right body with the right judiciary muscle to really engage and remedy the solution. As I close off in terms of the partnerships, we also have a partnership with MIC CETA. And through that particular partnership, we're able to empower 30 young people across the country with a short course on DNS practitioner. Furthermore, we have set up 2 research chairs that focuses on internet governance. And we also focus on domain name services research. This empowering students to conduct their PhDs and also masters. Currently, we are funding an estimated number of 18. I will verify the exact figure, Honorable Chair and members. And this, of course, being students studying masters and also studying PhDs as indicated. We endeavor to improve on what we are offering and ensure that these researchers become centers of excellence and we become thought leaders globally in terms of what we are engaging on within the space. Chair, there was a question around a composition. With your permission and that of my board chairperson, Chair, I will ask her if, of course, she can address that particular one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chair of the board, is there anything outstanding before we hand over?
Apologies about that. Thank you, CEO. In terms of the board composition, currently there's 7 board members, 2 of which are male and 5 of which are female. But in terms of the ECT Act, there are supposed to be 9 board members, and 2 board members resigned last financial year. In terms of the geographic spread, I think at the current moment, most of the board members are coming from Gauteng. So hopefully as the department has advertised for the new board, so perhaps in the new term, there would be the geographic spread because as the members have said, the internet is not just for urban areas, but it's for even people in the outlying areas. And I think that's what we endeavor to do as ZADNA. And that's the reason why it's so important for us to go to the rural areas and engage and train young people so that they can become part of the digital economy. Thank you. With that, I will hand over back to the Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleague.
Minister,
Thank you.
Minister,
Thank you.
Minister, just before you come in.
Sorry, Chair. Yes.
Just before you come in, Minister, so that you come in all at once and just make a summation. I just wanted to say, Minister, that I see the rating at international level. We are showing very well, and we are almost 28, if I heard correctly. And then there was there's a missing link there. We should also have a strong showing in Africa. I would like to get a sense of where we are in the continent as such a very important instrument in South Africa. Knowing South Africa as a springboard for economic development in the entire region, we ought to have centrality in the continent. So even on strategic partnerships, our national development plan and the entire vision of the country, one of the cardinal pillars is the Africa agenda. So I was listening to the CEO. I would have loved to have heard that there is an Africa strategy as well. Remember that in the continent, there's a huge dominance of foreign domain names, including Google. I don't think it's good for us to be beaten in our own space in a post-colonial Africa. So an entity like this should actually be towering in the continent, ensuring that we play the role that we're expected to play as one of the leading economies in this continent. So perhaps it's a matter that needs to be taken as a takeaway. So I felt that I should come in just to underline that point, Honorable Minister, so that it's something that may be considered in the strategic plans of ZADNA going forward. I appreciate the fact that they are foregrounding their work in all the provinces, province by province. But certainly the Africa agenda is very key in order to decolonize the continent, particularly on the sector of ICT, because this is a sector that now determines how economies work, basically. And therefore, in order for us as a power broker in the continent, in order for us to play a critical role, we need to be torchbearers and be in the front line in ensuring that we take a center stage and dominate and have hegemony in terms of domain names in the continent. We can't be led by Google, as an example. So that's what I wanted to say, Minister. I would like now to ask you to come in and make your summation.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. But maybe as a matter of fact, Chair, if I remember, you guys said we are topping Africa. Can you just respond to that, Chair?
Yes, Minister, we are number one in the continent.
But the question is even bigger from the Chair with regard to what is our what are the continental implication as far as our strategy is concerned, as far as our strategy is concerned in the domain sector. Do you want to comment on that, Chair?
Maybe to say, Minister, we do try, as I think the CEO has alluded to, that we are part of AFNIC and part of the Africa top-level domain name community. We do strive to work together with other African countries, and I take a note of what the chairperson has said in terms of domain names, because I think we have assisted as South Africa in terms of other countries that had their country code top-level domains being administered by people who were not in Africa, who were outside the continent, and who are accruing money from it. So we have played a role, but we continue to play a role. Perhaps what we need to do is to go back as ZADNA and look at our strategy and see how we intentionally, try and change the agenda, as the chair has said, to say that we need to decolonize the sector in Africa, forming partnership outside South Africa, because we do have partnerships, but there are very few partnerships. We need to expand on that. Also saying that we are looking at working with the African Union to actually assist in the training or DNS training, because what you find in Africa is that most of the training that is done in Africa, they get people from other countries, from other continents to come and do the training. But we in South Africa, we have the capacity to actually assist with the training in the continent. So we are in talks at the moment with the AUC to see how do we move that forward as South Africa. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair, for that open-minded response. Chair, my point is that this issue of asserting South Africa in the ICT sector is not only a ZADNA issue. It's a bigger challenge in terms of who dominates our network in the continent. Mainly, there's quite a significant presence of the extra-continental institutions, your Huawei and others. So there's quite a lot of work that just recently we've been interrogating that, asking ourselves a question: how do we assert ourselves as the continent, especially from the network point of view? There are telcos who are doing business mainly with the institutions that are outside the country, yet they make business here in South Africa, making revenue. So it's not just a ZADNA issue, but the question you're raising is cuts across the entire sector and the entire department out of 11 entities, including the department. It's a huge question that you are putting on the table, that if we have this question, which I know we have, now that you've raised it, to actually take it to a higher level in as far as our discussion is concerned. Otherwise, Chair, I'm comfortable with the way the colleagues have responded, unless we have left anything out. Thank you, Chair. Oh, I forgot to complain, Chair. It's a side issue that the letter I received from the committee referred to me as Ngungubele. And I took a view that it could not have been the chair who wrote that, although the signature is that of the chair. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. That complaint is definitely registered. We will process it, and definitely there will be consequences. You are correct as well, Chair, that sometimes officials, they just use the electronic signature without passing things by me. There is no way that, because I'm an author as well, so I know that with the ethics and professionalism of writing, misspelling a name of a person is actually unacceptable. So I apologize for that, and it will not recur. So the Secretariat is hearing what I'm saying. I've always told them that whenever a letter is issued to the leadership, the ministers, it must come through my desk. They must not just do a cut and paste, because mistakes like this do happen. And had it been brought to me, I would have picked it up. Because I don't only know your name through you, but that family name in the struggle, even in the pre-colonial history, it resonates very well. So, as I say, as a historian, there is no way that I would have done that. I sincerely and profusely apologize for that. So, Minister, I think we are covered as members. I don't see any hand for any follow-up question. We want to express our appreciation for this interaction. And it is our role to ensure that we conduct oversight on all your entities. And perhaps there are still others that we have not had an opportunity to interact with. And I'm sure in the fullness of time, we will have an opportunity to do that before the end of the term of our tenure. I also wanted to say this. I hope the DG was here. I had wanted to say that, Minister, we saw yesterday you were actually towering on the news in a festival of technology, cutting fingers without scratching your head. And we looked with pride and appreciation that these are the things that are happening and are happening in our country. And we actually bring even the world and Africa to come and benchmark on what we are doing, which is a very good thing. But I wanted to say to the DG, it's important that even if some of these initiatives, of course, are done by non-state actors, but they always come to the state to endorse or to partner or to cooperate with them. So it's important that don't be tired to extend an invitation to our committee to be part of this, because it also gives us an opportunity to put our boots on the ground, right in the shop floor of the festival or an indaba, which talks to ICT or communication. Nothing should happen without us being there. I'm putting it to the administration because they ought to extend that invitation. Then it must not be a question of a pick and choose. It must be us who decline an invitation, but all invitations must be extended to the committee to be part of those things, because it gives us ammunition to be able to vouch for the work that we are doing. It's not a healthy thing that we must always ask questions. Sometimes we must just take the microphone and comment and actually compliment the work that is being done, because we have seen for ourselves and we have heard with our ears. So on that note, Minister, we wish to appreciate the board of ZADNA for the work that they do. May they gather strength and improve their performance, year on to year on. And also thank your staff and thank your good office for having made this representation here. We will keep in touch, surely, and all the things that we have been promised, that they will be sent to us in a written form. We will be looking forward to that. With those words, we thank you very much, Minister, and your team. We wish now to release you so that we can allow you to go back to your desk of office. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Siyabulela. Nkosi.
Kamako.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Cheers.
Amanda, I wanted to check if we have minutes that we need to attend to.
Yes, Chair, but we are not collating. The other members have left the platform.
They left just now?
Yes, during the meeting, Chair, yes.
How many are the members who have left?
There are 5 members on the platform now.
We ought to be 6
7
or 7.
at least. Yes, Chair.
7.
Yes, Chair. 6 plus 1, 7.
We have another meeting next week, so I think it's not a problem. Honorable members, the minister has requested that the meeting for next week be held on Friday because of the cabinet commitment. He wishes to come personally or the deputy minister. So I will request that this set of these minutes must then be rolled over so that they can be looked at in the next meeting on Friday. With your permission, members, may I hear members if they support that? Because we don't forum.
We support Chairperson.
Honorable.
Support Baba.
We support.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Members, let me express my appreciation to you for this great interaction. It was quite robust, and the minister gave himself time to be with us throughout the meeting, which is very, very important. That it's not that we're making ourselves important. It is not about us. as individuals, but it's about the committee, which is a committee of parliament, which we must respect the structures that we create and also respect the people in the offices of the structures that we created. So when ministers do good, we must then express our appreciation. But when they don't do what they are expected to do, we must also raise our concern and our displeasure. So that being said, members, I wish to say thank you so much. We now have arrived to a point of concluding. We shall meet as a committee next week, Friday. I wish to thank you so much, members. We will meet in the floor of the plenary this afternoon at 2. Thank you very much, honorable members. The meeting stands adjourned.
Thanks very much, Chair.
Siyabonga baba.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Chair.
Baba.
Wamuhle ngomgwenya ngo-short hair. Woo.
Hey, Mangwenya with short hair.
Tombo.
Hey,
Thank you,
Mangwenya
Tombo. Thank you, Tombo.
Tombo.
Yes, Tombo. Hari
For
sama
sure.
yang Tombo.
Sharp.
Sure.